All right, so before we head on this epic journey today where we're gonna find the alligator wrestler and where he started his whole thing here on the Treasure Coast, my name is Alex Haigh. I run a group called the Alex Haigh Group. We have a trusted group of professionals that understand this area through and through. So if you're considering moving to the area, drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. So let's get going. Now in today's video, we're gonna show you Stuart, Florida, and what a great day in Stuart, Florida would look like. This is gonna be a day that like Bruiser and I would go out on. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to an amazing diner. It's called Alice's Diner, but it's actually called the Caring Cafe now, and it's run by now an organization that helps people with special needs. They have amazing food there. Then we're gonna stop at actually a gas station.
It's a gas station.
I know, a gas station, but this gas station, they're a chain actually. It's called Wawa. We're gonna show you in there all the places where you can get some great food. If you're on the run, you might know of Wawa, you might not. We're gonna show that to you. Then we're gonna get down to the Alligator Wrestler. It's actually in South Stuart, a little bit of Hobe Sound, and that's where the original alligator guy came from. And then lastly, I'm gonna show you the best place to get an alligator burger in town. There's all kinds of other stuff there. You can get burgers and fries and all that kind of stuff, but the alligator burger is definitely a local favorite, so let's get into it. All right, so a couple of things I wanted to show you here on the way, and there's a couple of circles here, or roundabouts, if you will, in Stuart. This one we like to call Sailfish Circle. There's this beautiful sailfish here. I'm gonna pay attention to the road, and it's got fountains all around it. And it's right here close to downtown Stuart. It's a nice little spot. At night, it's all lit up with like neon colors and that. It's pretty darn cool. Now, I wanted to stop real quick here and show you something special. We have mangoes here in Florida, and these are actually wild mangoes that are not owned by anybody. Here in this spot, this is just off of Pavilion, just north of East Ocean. And during season for mangoes, which is kind of towards the end of the summer, you can get fresh mangoes, big, beautiful mangoes. Come down to any of these streets here and there'll be mangoes dropping on the ground, or you could literally pick them off the trees. I wanted to show you this real quick. This took me years and years and years to find this. Now you know my secret spot, which is just off of Northeast Ocean and on Pelican Drive. Come up in this little area, beautiful little homes in here, all kinds of different homes, but the mangoes here are phenomenal. All right, so we're starting here at Alice's restaurant. Now, any great, perfect day is gonna start with an amazing breakfast. Here at Alice's, you're gonna get that. This establishment has been here for over 20 years. It's a husband and wife that actually owned it, and they just sold it to a non-for-profit called ARC, A-R-C. It's Advocates for the Rights of the Challenged. Now, this is an incredible organization that helps people with special needs, so they're actually gonna be working here. Everything actually is going to function as it did as Alice's, and they're going to bring in people with special needs to help to service the community. This place is phenomenal. I'm going to recommend the banana pecan pancakes. Yeah, that's right. You heard me right. The banana pecan pancakes. That's going to start off your day fantastic as we work our way down to go see the alligator guy. All right, so normally I wouldn't show people a gas station, but this is not any gas station. This is Wawa. Now, this chain actually came from Philadelphia, but it's really big here in Florida. We have multiples here in Martin County. I love Wawa. I'm gonna go in and show you that you can actually order up a latte, have it any way you want with almond milk, skim milk, whole milk. They got chocolate shakes, they got sundaes, they got morning breakfast, hoagies in the afternoon. You can get everything you possibly could want here for a really good price. It's good food. This is not just a gas station, it's something special. So when you drive by a Wawa, remember, I can get pretty much anything I want inside there. So let's check it out. So all you do is you come in here to Wawa, right? You go to the screen and you order, I want a beverage. I want a latte. There's all kinds of different lattes, matcha tea, all that kind of different stuff. Me personally, I go for the latte. Look at all these different kinds of lattes you can get with frothy whipped cream and chocolate and sprinkles and all that stuff. I'm just gonna go for a regular latte. I'm going for 16 ounce. I'm gonna have it with 2% milk, no sugar, no whipped cream for me today. No thanks. I'm gonna go for a double espresso shot in there as well. Boom. I'm gonna go next, print, boom, done. It's gonna be made for me over there. I can go over to the kiosk, pay for it, and then the latte is gonna be ready, and it's one of the best lattes in town. All right, so we're rolling up here to the gate, and we're gonna pay here. Hi, how are you? Good. Going in just to see, want to see the alligator man there. All right, so we're heading into the observation tower here, and this is a unique piece of land because most of Florida is pretty darn flat, but this is a little area where there's glacier stuff moves some of the land around, and we actually get a little change of elevation here. We're working our way up to the observation tower, which we're going to be able to take a little look-see at what's around. So this is the Hobe Mountain Tower, and it says it's a 10-minute walk up here, so that's what a mountain is like in Florida. You get to walk up it in 10 minutes. I've never actually been up in the tower before, so Bruiser and I are pretty excited about this, and as long as my phone doesn't break. All right, so this is what actually old Florida used to look like. This is actually called scrub community. So you'll see like sand and dirt, and obviously you'll see palmettos, and some of these are actually some invasive species of Brazilian pepper in that. But this is what Florida actually looks like when you don't see all the green grass and all that. So it's kind of neat to come out here and see what old Florida looks like. Don't jump, Bruiser. All right, so you had your beautiful breakfast at Alice's, and then we stopped at Wawa, got some coffee. So you get kind of a little bit full, getting a little caffeine on. So we do a little bit of a hike here. We're up right now on the Hobe Sound mountain, and this observation tower is at the top of that mountain. So you get to see all of this old Florida. You get to see in the distance though, Jupiter and kind of how that's been built up. You get to see Jupiter Island on the other side of the intercoastal there. There's a big old yacht back there. So there's all kinds of hiking trails, and there's mountain biking, there's canoeing and kayaking and all that. We're going to take you down to where you do the expedition tour to go and see Trapper John's old camp. Now, Trapper John came here in the 20s, and he actually bought land that was on tax auctions and so forth, and built up a nice little homestead where he had chicken coops and a little zoo where he had alligators and so forth. So the alligator guy that I keep talking about, that's Trapper John. And here's a picture of him here. And Trapper John came here in the 20s, and he was like a local legend. He died in the 60s, but he really was a kind of a formal figure in developing this area where people could come and see natural Florida in its state with alligators and tortoises and all that kind of stuff. So this is the lookout tower, and now we're going to be working our way over to the expedition area where you can take out kayaks and those kind of things. All right, so currently I'm at the Cypress Creek Pavilion area. This is where you're going to come. You're going to rent your kayak, you're going to rent your boat. You can actually rent motorboats, you can rent bikes, you can rent motorbikes. You can actually rent a cabin here and come and stay here for the night. Now remember, like I said, there's all kinds of walking trails and biking trails. You can do the kayak tour, and you can go out to Trapper John's camp. Now, the tour isn't happening right now, but you can actually go out and see where Trapper John made his little homestead, where he had all those alligators and tortoises and all that kind of stuff. So this is a really cool place to come for the day. You can see in the background, you got the jungle gyms. There's all kinds of places where you can set up a camp, site, not a campsite right here, but you can actually bring the family and do a picnic and that kind of thing. There's little grill pits, so if you want to bring your barbecue, you can do that. This is a great spot to come for the day. You can get all of that Alice's food out of you, and then go to the next spot that we're going to for that amazing alligator sandwich at Harry and the Natives, so stay tuned. All right, so I just ordered my gator burger. Super excited about it. They got tater tots here, all kinds of Florida fare, your Cobb salad, that kind of thing. This is the place where I would end the day. You can see the lights going down right now. We had a nice little hike. You had your picnic, you got the breakfast at Alice's. This is a great way to end the day with the gator burger. So if you like this content, you can check out some of these other videos here on some of the other spots that I did in Jupiter and Stuart. We'll see you on the next one.